Welcome to Big Conversations by Ordinary People, Mr. Chairman. This has been an honor. I last interacted you when we were still in school. By then, you are our director at Mpoma Royal College, where, by the way, I achieved very, very well. I think in my class, I was among the, by then I was among the first 10. I was also head in the media club. I was also really, really good with computer with Mr. Antulume, who was also my OB from Namiryango.
Okay.
And we are still friends up to now. We have met in Turkey. We also try and do some business here. Now, yes, the idea of the podcast is for you to also give us your own introduction of who you are so that the listeners can further understand the person you are.
Okay.
Your father,
Okay, my name is Dr. Musoke Thaddeus Nagenda. I'm not a medical doctor, but a PhD holder, specializing in business and management. Yes, I'm a family man. With four daughters and one son. I'm a politician. I'm a politician, but when I contested, I don't know how my votes vanished, but when I was campaigning, I thought by this time I'd been in Parliament to champion the concern of what we started to build, like the economic movement, because we thought that it was so important. Then also, I'm also the founder of Chagwe Development Initiative, which is a non-government organization based in the Mukono and the Greater Mukono area. And furthermore, I'm a farmer, because in Uganda you have to be a little bit more dynamic. So I try to diversify. I'm a consultant by profession and experience. I'm a businessman. I'm a journalist by profession also. And I'm also an educationist. Another thing that I'm currently the chairman of Kampala State. No, now it's no longer Kampala State Traders. It's KASITA Uganda. But before it used to be Kampala City Traders Association. But because of the need to champion for fair trading environment in this country, it was re-registered and turned into KASITA Uganda. So also currently, I'm the president of Kampala Metropolitan Development Forum. This is a new initiative by the World Bank to make sure that stakeholders are involved in decision making, mainly about the infrastructure development in their locality, and even supervise, because these are loans we pay using our taxes, to make sure that we supervise and monitor all the projects being implemented currently by KCCA. I've just been elected this year.
Oh, congratulations.
So I'm someone who is so passionate in serving the community and even making sure that there is fairness, and even at least all of us, so that we can enjoy the cage, and so that every Ugandan can benefit and enjoy being a Ugandan.
Interesting. Are you hoping to come back in 2026?
Of course, I'm getting several concerns from my supporters requesting me to come back and contest. I'm sure currently, so far, basing on the way I see the environment, I'm ready to contest, because we need to champion the economic empowerment movement, whereby we no longer need the kadodi during the campaigns. No, we need to make sure that the concerns of Ugandans, we need to own our economy. We need to talk serious issues like economy. We have suffered a lot. Like when you go to Parliament, these politicians, for them, they lose nothing. They're not in business. They are not investors. They just want to be bribed. And unfortunately, those even who have tried to be bribed, since the money is just, it's not good money.
Yeah.
They tend at times not to utilize those resources. Here in Uganda, you find someone sleeping in the house, which would have been an hospital, which could even have a great impact on the community, or maybe a tourist site or like a hotel, and even the maintenance. So we are not so calculative, but because that is sinful money, it's just wasted. And you find that the business environment in Uganda is not conducive. That associations do a lot. We do a lot of research. We do a lot of advocacy. We advise the government, to engage the government. It's like we need to change the perception of Ugandans. That can we start talking sense, like in Parliament?
Yeah.
Can the business community interest fully be represented?
How is it that it has taken so long for the business community to have representation in Parliament?
I think maybe because politicians are enjoying Uganda's resources peacefully, we have been sidelined. Because even we had a concern, like when you analyze the integration of East African countries, it was mainly resolved to be, first of all, economic based. But the private sector wasn't involved. So most of the times, the leadership in the private sector were a little bit maybe scared to get so much involved in policy making and such crucial issues. But it's so unfair that if we are basing that economic integration, why even in the Parliament for the East Africa are we not represented? Because why are the politicians representing us?
Yeah.
Because we could first of all champion business, economy. How can we do business as East Africans? And then maybe other political issues should come in later. So we think this is high time we become more vibrant and more aggressive. That's why we have declared that this coming elections, we are going to be fully active in politics. We have to be so influential to make sure that we have rightful representation on all leadership structures. And even those who are going to contest, even if they are politicians, we need to organize conferences. And they talk to us as businessmen, as investors of these countries,
And
because we need to protect our business interests. We need to protect our economy. Why should we donate our economy to the hands of the foreigners? So we need to run Uganda's economy.
Interesting. Now, we are going to switch now into KASITA a little bit because, of course, it's trending and people are a bit confused. Of course, we acknowledge the recent protests and their role in representing the Ugandan traders. But how effective, from your perspective as chairman, how effective have these protests been? We last saw you guys have a meeting with the head of state, and it was a bit of a back and forth. So it almost seemed like everyone was unsatisfied. But what is in for the trader who has closed their shop today? How is that effective?
You know, the fact is that personally, I wouldn't be in support of the demonstration. But we championed dialogue. And by this time, KASITA resolves to go into demonstrations. So then there is maybe relaxity on the approach from the government. But that's a very big concern.
Yeah.
And when even the government champion public-private partnership, the challenge we're having with public, you know, the methodology used to do or execute their mandate, they work at their own pace. And for us in business or private sector, time is a resource, a very valuable resource, which we have to fully utilize.
Sure.
That's why even there is a saying, time is money.
Yeah.
Just imagine we have engaged the government now for almost 5 years about an illegal practice where when you bring the invoice you use to purchase commodities outside this country,
Yeah.
URA perceives that invoice is from NASA. That our intention
Is to cheat.
is to cheat taxes.
Yeah.
So that bad perceptions, they formulated a very unfair practice, even by the way it's illegal, that you can wake up one time and you start implementing a tax system where a textile which you purchase or which is costed basing on the length, now you turn it and tax it basing on the weight. The kilo system, that was 3.5 per kilo, per dollar per kilo.
Yeah.
So it was totally very unfair. Secondly, it applies to the garments, so attire. A shirt is bought in pieces, not in kilos.
How do you mean in pieces?
Like when you buy a shirt, you can just buy that this is one piece. These are 2 pieces. This is a dozen. It's not like sugar that these are 50 kgs.
Yes.
But when you reach here in Uganda, they want to tax you basing on the kilos, not basing on the invoice. That's why with our partners and sector leaders of the car importers, they had to flow URA in the court case. So they are trying to see that how do we harmonize.
Yeah.
But because even the courts declared it's illegal, even when you're basing on the standard trading policies and practices, the invoice value is supposed to be respected when you are taxing a commodity. But we have engaged the government several times and they are insisting they're promoting buku. So it's so unfair that when you want to interest your comrades, your bazukulu, like at times how the president calls Ugandans, that you are supposed to interest them by showing them the opportunities in manufacturing. Personally, one time I started the factory, but because of several challenges like access to finance, I was constrained and the company collapsed. Because access to finance in Uganda is a very big challenge, mainly long-term financing. Yeah. And when the government, because they are more of politicians than businessmen, or than people advocate for fair practices for the private sector, they lie to the public that they have put a lot of money in Uganda Development Bank and Micro Support Center. But
yes,
they don't have money.
Attending the micro savings conference.
But they don't have money.
Said
That's the fact. Because all my comrades I know who are local investors, they have gone to the banks. Banks have auctioned their property.
Yeah.
Because the CBR, first of all, is very unfair. So which means the cost of access to loans in Uganda is not high, flexible, and favorable at all. So you find that people have tried to embrace the government policy of manufacturing. It has become a very, very big challenge. That's why as KASITA, there is a paper we are organizing, which we are going to address to His Excellency.
Yes.
about how best we think that the government can champion import substitution, value addition, manufacturing, and export promotion.
Yeah.
Because both of them, they cannot coexist, the traders and the local manufacturers. Because we need the trader, the trading community. In every country, the trading community has to exist. Secondly, the government cannot totally abolish importation. Importation tries to supplement on the shortage as the local companies or factories build capacities. But the problem is that the attitude of the government towards traders, they think for us we are basasi. This mainly the word is referred to by the president. But when I was growing up, basasi, it was the way he was interpreting it. It means someone who is kweya, is trying to survive.
By EDV.
Yes, by EDV. Is trying to survive, has limitation to resources, there is no defined job. So that person has that will to decide to work than becoming a criminal. The government should formulate a program to facilitate this person who has that urge of working.
Isn't this what they're doing with programs like Emyooga, where they're funding people, because these were things?
These are projects which are facilitating corruption. Because government officials formulate programs mainly to benefit themselves.
True.
Yes, he's struggling or she's struggling with an apartment in Shira. He formulates a program just to cheat our money. But their impact is not felt. If the moga, the what, how can you even allocate money that I'm going to give money to these very underprivileged Ugandans? These poor Ugandans, that's what by the politicians are referring to, these broke Ugandans, that then making sure that there is easy access to finance.
Yeah.
So these are techniques of politicians just to get political mileage. Because even if just any startup business will need easy access to finance. We need to set up incubators. KASITA now we are trying to set up a resource center to see that even we can try to help people who want to access money. Banks are cheating Ugandans. There is a lot of kavuyo and challenges in that area. So the more you have different entities, the cost of operations are so high. Why can the government of Uganda simply address the challenge of easy access? The same applies to Bailout. It was like that time when I was addressing to His Excellency.
Yes.
I was trying to be polite. But we, as players in the private sector, we are not contented with the procedures of how someone can be built out.
So what are the procedures? Who needs to be out and who gets?
No way, there isn't any clear procedures. Unless
your favorite.
Maybe even I hear there is the name, also the name matters.
Your last name.
Yes, even the loyalty to the ruling government matters. Even how influential are you to the big man?
Yes.
But that is not called for.
It is not the proper.
Because when you invest in Uganda and you make profits, government automatically has 30% share in your entity. So the government should be able to facilitate you when you're having challenges.
Regardless of your name.
Yes, but by this, some businesses are struggling because of the restrictions which were instituted during the COVID-19. I was on the committee. I clearly presented our concern as the private sector. We are locking the economy. What procedures has the government put in place to facilitate the losses and the inconveniences faced by the private sector? No one could answer such a question. Even when we met His Excellency at State House in Entebbe, he wasn't in position to respond to that. So businesses were struggling even currently. So we decided even to request for the recovery fund. When money was released to Uganda Development Bank, clearly we have evidence that money was channeled to set up some of the good malls. Here, is it called Akamwesi?
Yes, on Gayaza Road.
On Gayaza Road. But that money was to facilitate business recovery. So when I met the MD for Uganda Development Bank, I told her now I want money also to set up such a mall. She told me, Mr. Chair, those things, they're not like you think. Things are not easy here. So even there is political influence. So we were so eager because for us, we are after opportunities. And where there is easy access to money, of course, why can't you utilize that? And so when you go there, you find that even some shops are still empty.
Yes.
Because the business community is struggling with their taxes, several challenges. Furthermore, we requested for the recovery fund because the other one wasn't so active. So we told the press this time, no, don't put this money. You leave Uganda Development Bank alone with the other fund, and also you put this. When they gave money to the banks, the fact is the banks also refused to release that money. But the argument is there is no way Musoke
players in corruption.
Yes, because now Musoke, who is selling a TV at around 500,000, and then the government is telling us, I have my TVs, sell them at 200. So Musoke will sell the government TV at 500, take the profits when the intention of the government has failed. So we thought that it could be better the government can empower the private sector. We make recommendations that Musoke qualifies to access this money, and that recommendation can be addressed to maybe Bank of Uganda or Minister of Trade or Minister of Finance. And then they would have set up a very independent committee where different stakeholders are represented to go through such recommendations and proposals to make sure they confirm someone who qualifies to access that money. But if that's not that, you find that it's not active. So it cannot be effective. So currently, when we met the president said, now he's thinking of bringing a card. So it's like maybe the president is trying to see that how can I solve the problems of my comrades? He formulates many ideas, but I think the people are assigned
to implement.
Yeah. Maybe they are not creative, or maybe they fear the president so much that they cannot advise. They need to protect their jobs because they fear
I feel like that's
to be sacked to join the private sector. Instead of championing fairness in the private sector, because that employs the majority of Ugandans. The government employs around 48,000. And the private sector employs around almost 5 million Ugandans. So the private sector has a bigger mandate to fight poverty, and even the private sector pays taxes. So we need the fairness in the private sector. Even we need to recognize, like other countries, in other countries, they totally respect private sector players.
Yeah.
And they are given VIP treatment.
Yes.
But you are here in the road, you find that whenever you are in the road, you are in the jam, you hear just people with lead cars passing you. You are the one who is going to make money.
For them.
You are going to pay the taxes, even they don't pay taxes.
I agree.
We were happy when another order came. I think it came from the General Muhozi.
Yeah.
That to stop those people who abuse
the traffic
rules.
That came from the general.
And when the military was brought in, military police, they confused the whole situation. They had to they block the roads, they decongest the fun and narrow roads. Jam was mob. We are lucky now, they were removed. But even after following, they are still in other places. But we have been telling these people that is a blunder. Now we are supposed to go digital. Because now they installed CCTV cameras. If they want to arrest the RCC or the minister who is abusing the traffic rules, you just go to the CCTV camera and monitor. Than inconveniencing Ugandans. So we need to respect Ugandans. Ugandans, a little bit, they are more corporate and understanding. But they understand their rights. And also they can get annoyed. Why do we provoke Ugandans? Let us respect each other. Let the public sector play its part and let the private sector play its part. We shall enjoy this country.
True. I agree. Now, in one of the things you mentioned to the president, the one thing I picked out from the clip, you said one of the issues with EFRIS is it feels like the people the powers that be, want to also understand which businesses are maybe thriving so that they invest in those. Do you feel like this raises privacy issues for traders you are chairing?
No. The fact is about the EFRIS system, some of our members had embraced the system. But the implementer, that is URA, totally they mismanaged the implementation process.
Is it because there are technical difficulties on that?
No, when you're implementing such a project, you're supposed to closely move with influencers and different stakeholders, and you put them on board. You cannot just forcefully implement. Because we are partners. All Ugandans are supposed to be partners with URA. Because we have to meet our tax obligations for our country to develop. But how does URA handle Ugandans? When they are coming to visit you, you can assume that you are a rebel. They come to visit you with the full barracks of armed guys, talking to you on gunpoint, intimidating you, scaring customers.
They're like a cartel.
So we, as the traders in the business community, we had to stand up aggressively and oppose that. Because at first we tried to be friendly to URA to engage it. And we tell them, your people are being corrupt. Even the whole project has a lot of challenges. Revisit it. Understand our businesses. Let us understand the system. We are supposed to respect technology adoption processes. Even the fines.
And they are gradual.
It's gradual. You cannot argue on any fora that because I don't have power, it's my mandate to have installed standby power source. That if it's not there, I have to lock my business premises. That was totally wrong.
That doesn't make sense.
Secondly, that I'm supposed even to install internet at my own cost. But this is
an effect to your business.
This is facilitating tax correction. Also now it's a cost on my business. And another level that the installation of the gadget and the system is supposed to be on my cost. When I'm struggling with the loans.
And little access to finance.
Unfair penalties. That when an official from URA comes at your premises and you don't have a brown envelope, someone can just penalize you 4 million.
I have seen this first.
6 million, 8 million, or even imprison you 10 years. But just imagine, I've sold a bottle of water, 1,000. Because I don't want to lose this customer, I'm going to make the receipt. And then you penalize me 6 million? Is that realistic? Does it have any, I don't know even the kind of members of parliament, how myopic we are to pass such a bill. So that's why I'm telling the public that we are supposed to critically analyze what kind of leadership we are sending in different leadership structures.
We have seen in our sister country like Nairobi where people can protest a bill and it is taken back. Why do you think now, like you, someone who actually chairs traders and can get them to that level, why don't we at least get to that level where
But
you
but
can
also
reject
but
certain-
also in Uganda we reject things and they happen. We have rejected the EFRIS. The president has put EFRIS on hold. When we demonstrated,
yeah.
the penalties were suffocating businesses. And some officials from ERA were telling our traders, get me 50 million so that I clear your penalties. The president announced, and it was so clear, that he has put on hold all the penalties. That is a win of
That's
our
a win.
demonstration.
Yeah, forgot
Unfair operations which were around the city and even the metropolitan area, all of them now they are on hold. That is a win. He instructed URA, let it standardize values. Why should I bring a commodity and I start bargaining with an URA official? That when I give you money, you give me fair values. Why can't we have standardized values to facilitate trade? So that process is ongoing. Furthermore, we need the president, which is pending, is mainly about the kilo.
Yeah.
And even, I don't know why the president is fearing Chinese. Why can't he pronounce himself clearly that let Chinese remain in the factory? Let them vacate the shops which they opened to compete with our local Ugandans. You see that the operation which was done around Kansanga, Gaba Road,
Yes.
Ethiopians had hijacked. They were in retail shops. I hear they were in saunas. I hear even at night they were doing this night business.
Yes. Also
So you find that there is a lot of unseriousness with the government is handling to protect Ugandans. These petty jobs. Let Ugandans enjoy their country.
I think that solidarity, I've seen it with border men. It's very hard for, say, a Somali to be on a border stage and they don't chase you.
Yes.
That one I've seen it.
No, for us at times we are trying to handle it in a more corporate way.
Yeah.
But at times also we may fail to contain our members. Like some time back, I saw the dealers in Sun. They had to attack the Chinese because the Chinese had taken over the mining of the Sun. And then even they have started to hawk the Sun. They take direct to the sites. So eliminating Ugandans. So we need to respect the chain of trade. Let it be the manufacturer be there. Let us have the supplier. But that's why even the government at times erred. Why does it give free land for manufacturers to plant the input of that factory? It should be to Ugandans. So that the profit will try to also to benefit on such investments.
Yeah.
So the government should try to listen to Ugandans. It should avoid to take Ugandans for granted.
So
we are just a very peaceful people, but also you saw what happened with the crashes for Kayunga and the Buganda government.
Yeah.
That's when I saw, Ugandans can keep quiet,
yes,
but they know what they want.
I feel like it's a ticking time bomb to that again. If this now, I need you to explore the alternative solutions that KASITA proposes to address the government's concerns about taxation and revenue generation. If not EFRIS, what can be done?
No. For the EFRIS, I think what we proposed can it first of all stay to the factory level. Why? The factory, you know what? Whatever I produce, I can be able to supply it. But for my comrade in Chikubo, even we have what we call engolosi. Engolosi means dead stock. There's no way I'm going to sell that, but we'd have paid the taxes. Secondly, multiple taxes. They facilitate inflation. Already the cost of living in Uganda is very unfriendly.
Yeah, totally.
So the government should listen to the concerns of Uganda. Secondly, can EFRIS be at the entry point whereby I pay my 18% because the taxes are so high. Just imagine the container, you pay 35%. So if the cost was 200 million, what is 35%? Then on 35%, there is infrastructure levy. That's 1.5. There is environment levy. That's also 1.5. There is 18%. There is withholding. That is 6%. Otherwise, should you come to Chikubo to inconvenience the traders who have already paid you your money? Whether you have got your share, leave them in peace to kuyiriba, to kweyiya for survive. So already that is an alternative. Secondly, can you make the taxes fair so that the commodities here can compete? And when we talk about fair taxes, it implies even on the locally manufactured goods, so that we can utilize our East African commodity market. That market, if our goods here manufactured here are friendly, Ugandans will enjoy. But why should the government tax Ugandans so costly or highly? It's because of the corruption in the Ministry of Finance, whereby people are forcing investors to acquire free shares, and they are just donating tax incentives. Yes, give me shares in exchange, I'm giving you tax incentive. A man busy in Uganda for 10 years without paying a single tax. After the 10 years expire, he changes the brand. The person who has been Musoke Thaddeus Nagenda, he turns to be Muso. And again is enjoying free taxes. We are losing a lot of taxes. Even if you Google about the reports by the World Bank, we are losing a lot of taxes. And now we Ugandans, who are the government is on our neck with multiple taxes. When we are donating taxes, the government, in order to attract investors, it should handle the cost of reducing the cost of doing business. Let it improve the infrastructure. Let it control the jam. We are losing a lot of money in jam. Let it invest heavily in railway. We should not be just joking.
True.
When you see the work being done with the railway,
I agree.
these people are just mediocres.
To be possible for me to sleep.
We need to invest seriously in the railway. We need to revisit, why should the water, which was freely donated by God, why should it be costly? Why should it have VAT? Electricity, what makes electricity expensive? So just imagine I'm paying 1.5 environment levy. Do you know why Ugandans are cutting trees? Because electricity is expensive. I have to use charcoal for cooking instead of using electricity. So the government should wake up and listen to the concerns of Ugandans. By the way, we are giving it free consultancy. It wastes a lot of money in research and consultants. Even they would be paying us the advice we are giving to the government. That's why one time I had to send away the researchers who approached my office from Bank of Uganda. That why is it that the intake for the recovery fund is not effective? I told them, you mean you have never received our official position as KASITA? So here you are cheating our money in this guise of research. Already as KASITA, we gave them our concerns that the conditions and the requirements which were instituted on access to this fund totally is inaccessible. So we need to be so straight and broad to
what
our
are KASITA's
comrades.
next steps? Now, do you feel like dialogue with the president has failed?
No, we don't think that dialogue has failed, but this demonstration is waking him up. It's like he's taking Ugandans for granted. Personally, I wasn't in support of the demonstration because I had the delegations in engagement. But at times, even the ministers have poor PR. Just imagine the Minister of Kampala called us and confirmed we are meeting the president on 31st. That was on Friday. The whole day, the full minister even could not buy water for the business community who are paying taxes, and we wasted our time there almost a full day. The next day, we had to hire a hotel and call the traders that, yes, the minister has confirmed we are going to meet the president on 31st. Then it was at 7. The good thing that she's a Muslim. If she was like we, the Christians, at times we enjoy these big brown bottles, I'd think that maybe she was drunk. She WhatsApped us, even to the traders without even contact the leaders, that the president has cancelled. He's not meeting the traders, just on WhatsApp. And then secondly, she was telling the traders, bring the proposals, the president gives you money. But those are not the concern. And then she worsened the situation by telling the traders that even KASITA submitted the proposal requesting money to the president. But you know, it has become political. They know we are potential threats to their parliamentary seats, and she's planning to contest. And basing on what I'm hearing, if conditions stay as they are, our spokesperson may contest for Kampala. And she's planning to contest for Kampala. So she was trying to attack the leopard. The leopard, that is KASITA. You cannot mess with KASITA with the trading community. You cannot. She needs to strategize other approaches if she wants to get political mileage than blackmailing. What I submitted in, it was a research report which the president instructed me to carry out. And I was able to access all the data from Uganda Revenue Authority in coordination with Uganda Investment Authority and other journals, business journals. And clearly I submitted. There isn't anywhere where KASITA was asking money from the president. She needs to get informed. And by the way, in the meeting on Friday, she told me, can you please share with me the copy of the research you did? She never funded for that research. I was instructed by the head of state. It's like she's undermining the powers of the head of state. I cannot do such a blunder. I understand the difference between, I can clearly differentiate between the minister and the president. Yes.
Interesting. Now, what does this mean to the consumer for us?
The consumers, for the meantime,
Is going to be high?
no, we have to have solidarity. You know, Ugandans, you think things are supposed to be easy. There is a saying, "Kwiwa wo mubiri." We have to be together in this struggle. For the meantime, we struggled during COVID-19. For me, during COVID-19, I never thought that, you know, when you mix hot water with ginger, it's so sweet like beer. But we are broke. What could we do? So for the meantime, let us eat Emyooga, like what Muse used to tell us. Let us try to utilize that small money we are having. But we have to show the government that we are not contented.
Standing in business.
That's what the government understands.
Yeah.
That's what the government understands. What should we do?
Interesting. Now, as we conclude, so that I can let you go into other meetings, what is the vision for KASITA for the future of trade in Uganda?
As KASITA, we have so many programs. First of all, we have changed it to be a multi-sector business association. And secondly, we have to change the perception of the government towards KASITA. We are not, you know, at times they say KASITA demonstration. KASITA demonstration. We are a vibrant force on the economy of this country. And we need to build the capacity of Ugandans. We need to address and solve our problems. When we leave our economy to be in the hands of the foreigners, then we have donated our country. So we need to be so vibrant. Our second move, we are strengthening our structures throughout the country. I'm telling you this, KASITA has to be a very strong force to influence the events in this country. That's our vision, and I'm sure we are determined. I have a very big, very strong board. I have several boards. First of all, I have the board of trustees. I have the board which I'm chairing. I have now the sectoral leaders council. We are organizing and fully so determined to achieve our goals.
So what kind of support does KASITA need to advocate for its members?
No, already the trading community has money. For me now, even if I want money, I just call one sector leader, get me 1 million. What we need is a fair trading environment. Yes.
Now, as we conclude, you as Mr. Musoke, what type of legacy do you want to leave behind?
For me already, I have my legacy. I've done some.
You've done it. You've educated
I'm
us.
a trader. I have, and now also I'm into manufacturing. Already I have several establishments. So my role is to make sure that I consolidate them and even expand them further.
Yeah.
Because I've invested now into medical facilities. I'm into farming. I've tried.
Thank you and well done. Also, thank you for coming here. I am looking forward for 2026. I want to head your digital campaign online, and we see. I'll get in touch.
Okay.
I have brilliant ideas.
All right. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm sure our comrades will enjoy this episode or this show, and all we are doing it for the good of this country.
Okay.
We have that good heart for this country because we have traveled in other countries. For me, I don't feel comfortable when I'm out of this country. We love this country. We are gifted by nature. We have a lot of resources. We have so many opportunities. I feel bad when our youth go to become kadamas. They are tortured that side because of unfairness and a very unconducive environment in this country. So we need to do whatever it takes to make sure that every Ugandan is comfortable in this country.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you too.